The story opens on the 4th of July, when the members of an elite SWAT team were supposed to have a day off and spend some time with their families. However, the bad guys do not take any days off. The team is notified and gathered at their base, where the woman in charge informs them of their mission. She has some information that says a bunch of terrorists are suspected of moving either humans or weapons through the sea, using containers. Their mission is to find those containers and take control of anything they may find. After that, they will be free to go home. Soon, the team arrives at the appropriate location, and they start moving into an abandoned building. First, they arrest a couple of dirty police officers who work with the terrorists. Then, they find a large container on the back side of the building, but once they approach it, a bunch of terrorists appear behind them and open fire. The SWAT team has to use their own weapons, and a firefight ensues. Although the team is well trained and they take many of the terrorists out, a woman from the team is injured and one of the other team members pulls her behind cover. The man is also shot, and dies later on. At the same time, another woman from the team arrests a guy, and the team realizes that he is strapped with explosives. The captain asks the man what his plan is, but he gets no answer. The captain is annoyed because the DEA agents participating in the mission let him believe this was going to be a walk in the park. Out of a sudden, another terrorist appears on a terrace, and he launches an RPG against the good guys. The terrorist prepares to take one more shot at them, but the captain takes him out. The DEA agents are killed by the attack, so the SWAT team proceeds without them and they open the container. Inside it, they see a man nicknamed the Scorpion being tied up in chains. Scorpion does not utter a single word, but it is apparent that the terrorists have been torturing him, probably to extract some information from him. The captain, Hall, tells his team that they are going to take Scorpion back to their base now that the DEA agents are killed, and because Dwyer, the woman in charge, asked him to do so. The team brings the Scorpion in, and Hall has a quick conversation with Helen Dwyer. The two of them start blaming this mission on one another. Helen believes they were not correctly prepared as a team, but Hall replies that the information they had was wrong. When the nerves calm down, Hall wants to go interrogate the Scorpion and the guy with the explosives.
Yeah, fuck that. I'm gonna go talk to them.
No, you're not.
But Dwyer tells him to stand down because the feds are going to deal with them. Later, Hall has a talk with one of his team members, Sophie, and he says that they should have a talk with their prisoners. Before they do that, they visit their tech guy and ask him what he has found on their prisoners. The man informs them that the terrorist with the explosives is a high-ranked member of a gang. As for the Scorpion, he was not able to find any information on him. Hall wants to know more about him, so he asks the tech guy to try to hack the CIA and the FBI in order to see if they have Scorpion in their databases. But Hall can't wait till that happens, so he asks Sophie to have a talk with the man she arrested. When she does, the man starts uttering that somebody told him this was about to happen. Sophie asks him about Scorpion and the man just replies that he is the devil.
Wanna know who he is?
The man goes crazy and he starts banging his head on the table, until he impales himself on a metal clipper and dies. Right next, Hall visits Scorpion to learn more about him, but the Scorpion tells him that it is more important for him to listen instead of ask him questions. The Scorpion claims that what happened today to his team was not an accident. He states that he has information in his head that are worth billions of dollars. Hall wonders what kind of information that is, and the Scorpion replies that it's the kind of information that can set the world on fire. Then, he tells Hall that agents from a federal agency will come to pick him up, but they are not what they seem to be. He asks Hall not to allow them to take him, and in return, he will help him survive what will come next. When Hall walks out of the interrogation room, Helen informs him that 2 FBI agents are here to take the Scorpion. Hall tells her that he is going to take care of it, and he proceeds to meet with the agents.
Commander Hall, I'm Agent Franklin. This is my partner, Agent Cox.
Hall tries to figure out if they are who they pretend to be, and notes that FBI agents usually use Beretta pistols. The agents tell him that the pistols they are carrying are their personal weapons because they were called on a holiday. Then, Hall asks them about the prisoner, but these agents don't know much about him. Hall figures out that these 2 men are not FBI agents, and asks them what's going on. The men start attacking him, but Hall defends himself efficiently and is able to knock their guns out of their hands. However, he is taken to the ground and one of the men is about to attack him with a knife. His team members appear and save the day, while Hall runs back to Scorpion. When he enters the interrogation room, though, he notices that Scorpion is set free. Scorpion is hiding right behind him, and he picks a fight with Hall. Scorpion is a good fighter and knocks Hall's pistol away. Then, he beats Hall up until he throws him on the table. Hall tries to put him in a hole, but Scorpion picks him up and bangs him hard. Finally, Scorpion throws Hall on the floor and grabs his gun. He aims it at Hall but then turns it around and hands it to him, asking him if Hall can trust him now. Hall's team members come to save him once more, even though Hall's ego might have gotten a hit after being beat up twice in a row.
You all right, Commander?
Yeah.
Hall has a talk with Helen to tell her that everything is going down the way Scorpion is describing it. Helen hears him out, but she claims there is nothing she can do because they have to follow the protocol. Hall reminds Helen that she used to be a cop like them before she wore the suit, and everybody stares at her waiting for her to make the right decision. Helen agrees to talk with the Scorpion and Hall starts assuming some stuff about him. He assumes that Scorpion was in special ops but somehow he acquired information that put him in danger. Hall believes that Scorpion could have escaped the terrorists but he did not do so, because he wanted to be found by the SWAT team in order to be protected by them. Scorpion admits that he used to be in special ops but his life came to a point where he understood that information is true power, which turned him into a spy. In the meantime, a very rich man and his female bodyguard are working with a hacker. Their goal is to uncover who called the rich man to ask him for $50 million to get the Scorpion back.
I know where he is and how to get him. 50 million.
As it appears, this rich man wants to have the Scorpion in order to get access to the valuable information he has. The hacker tells him that the call he received was made from the SWAT base. Back in the compartment, Hall asks the Scorpion how the terrorists got him and why they did not kill him. The Scorpion explains that he made a mistake in Bogota and that's how they got him. They did not kill him because they wanted to facilitate his sale. Helen doesn't believe that because the terrorists are not involved in such business, but Scorpion thinks they are connected to somebody who struck a deal with them. He is not certain who that person is, but the Scorpion believes that somebody from the SWAT team is involved. Right next, Hall hits the locker room and suits up. Sophie finds him there and asks him what he is doing. His plan is to move the Scorpion and he is going to do it alone. Sophie disagrees with that, but Hall is not going to change his mind because he wants to keep his unit safe. Plus, he believes that the bad guys can extract the information from Sophie and the rest of the team if he tells them where he is taking the Scorpion. Team member Chu sees Hall moving with the Scorpion in the hallway and she notifies Helen about it. A few moments later, the rich man receives a phone call from an unknown number with a modified voice that warns him he does not have much time because the Scorpion is being moved.
Listen to me carefully.
When Hall takes the Scorpion to his armored truck, the rich man orders the sniper he has in place to kill the driver. The Scorpion sees a flash on the sniper scope and warns Hall to duck. Hall avoids the shot, but the car still turns over, and the commander falls unconscious. A truck full of bad guys storms, and they start cutting the back door of the armored truck. The Scorpion cuts himself loose, and he starts fighting the bad guys. His fighting skills are unmatched, and he defeats the attackers one by one, while the rich man has ordered his people to keep the Scorpion alive. In the meantime, the compartment's guard grabs her shotgun and kills the sniper on the roof. Hall wakes up from his little nap, but more bad guys appear as well and they open fire. While the rest of the SWAT team starts moving, another van full of bad guys makes its appearance. When the back door opens, one of those guys starts shooting with a machine gun and takes many SWAT members out. When Hall takes the Scorpion inside, Helen points a gun at him. The Scorpion tells her that what's outside of this building is more dangerous than him, but Helen seems to believe that if she kills him, their problems will be over. Hall tells Helen that this is not who they are.
This isn't who we are.
So she decides to put her gun back in its case. Then, the hacker of the bad guys cuts the power off. The tech guy of the SWAT team brings some cameras back on, but Scorpion assumes the bad guys are watching through them. Hacking into their system is not that hard, so the bad guys are probably using their own cameras to watch through them. With that said, Hall tells his tech guy to switch the cameras off in order to keep the bad guys blind. Then, the rich man decides to give them a phone call by using the landline phone inside their room. He tells Hall and the rest that they can return back to their families if they just give him Scorpion, who belongs to him anyway. Hall says he can't do that, but the man replies that Scorpion is a liar who is manipulating them.
That he's lying to you right now.
On the other hand, Scorpion reveals that this rich man is a guy who owns a private army specializing in dark ops. The man, Lars, asks Hall to turn the Scorpion in once more, but the captain replies negatively. Then, Lars' assistant, Simon, starts bringing their family members up and asks Hall if his wife and daughter are worth less than Scorpion. Eventually, Scorpion says that he will give himself in but asks Lars to guarantee that no harm will come to Hall's family.
You have my word.
After Lars gives him his word, Scorpion says he will be outside in 10 minutes. When they hang up the phone, the Scorpion clarifies that he is not going to give himself in but rather get out there and try to kill everybody. The SWAT team is torn between two schools of thought. Some of its members believe that they should not take the risk, which means they should give them Scorpion. On the other hand, Hall does not want to do that, and Sophie remarks that if Scorpion was a bad guy for real, he would have already escaped. Hall starts outlining the team's plan. They are going to make the bad guys believe that Scorpion is turning himself in only to lure them closer to the building. In the meantime, their tech guy will try to lift the building's shields and the SWAT team will attack the bad guys. The tech guy comments that this is the first time ever that the shields are activated, and he has no idea if he can deactivate them like Hall describes. Hall trusts that he will find a way to do it and sets the plan in motion.
And that's when we hit him.
Hall and the Scorpion hit the locker room so that Scorpion can dress as a SWAT member. Since the Scorpion is not revealing much about himself, Hall asks him about Lars. Scorpion reveals that he and Lars used to work together before they took their separate ways. Meanwhile, the other SWAT members dress a dead body in an orange inmate suit in order to use it to deceive the bad guys. The Scorpion has also something to tell Hall, which is that they are not taking into consideration the mule they have in their team. The Scorpion believes that their van was intercepted earlier because the bad guys had information on them, which means that somebody warned Lars that Hall was about to move the Scorpion. Hall starts the operation and the SWAT team lures the bad guys in, but all of a sudden, a flash starts flickering from a window. Lars and Simon have also arrived at the base and they see the flash. Lars understands that it is Morse code, so he tells his men to fall back because they are walking into a trap.
Pull everyone back.
The SWAT team gathers back in the central room, while one of the team members is revealed to be the mule, Ward. He gets the fake FBI agent out of his cell and guides him toward the exit. As they move through the building, they stumble on Helen. As soon as they see her, the fake FBI agent snaps Ward's neck and kills him. Helen opens fire against him, but the fake agent is able to escape by using Ward's pistol to provide cover for himself. The fake agent has cut some cables in another room inside the building, and the tech guy understands it because he can monitor on his computer that the shields can now be lifted from outside while he has no control over them. Hall and Helen find the fake agent in the building and they start fighting with him. The man is a skilled fighter, but Hall ends him with a couple of shots. The shields are lifted and the bad guys storm inside the building. The building turns into a battlefield, while a couple of the good guys are instantly killed. In another part of the building, Helen stumbles on Simon and the two women start fighting. Both women are fierce and none of them wants to lose this fight. But when they grab each other by their throat, Lars appears from behind and knocks Helen out. At the same time, the bad guys are chasing the SWAT team until they meet Scorpion. He tells Hall's team to duck, and then uses a machine gun to eliminate the bad guys following them. The team makes it out of the building by using a secret tunnel located in the basement, but Hall stays back with the Scorpion to take care of the bad guys. As soon as they go upstairs, they are met by Lars and Simon and they start fighting them. After a few minutes of intense fighting, Hall tricks Simon and pushes her off the building, while Scorpion delivers a strong kick and impales Lars on a pipe. Hall helps Helen get up and they join the Scorpion outside. Hall remarks that Sophie will call for backup when she is in the clear, so maybe Scorpion should leave. Scorpion replies that he is tired of running because everyone is trying to kill him. With that said, he pulls a tooth out of his mouth, but in reality, it is a microchip. He hands it to Hall while he comments that it is in good hands now, but the situation changes really fast when Helen pulls her gun and shoots Scorpion. She also tries to shoot Hall, but he is able to get cover. The two of them move around several cars while shooting at each other, but eventually, Helen makes a run to the woods. Hall follows her, but Helen surprises him and starts hitting him with a piece of wood. Hall recovers and is able to fight back, until he pins Helen down. Every piece falls into place, as Helen is arrested, and Hall shows Sophie the microchip with the information Scorpion possessed. Two agents show a dead body to them and ask them if this is Scorpion. Hall tells them that this man is Scorpion even though he is not, allowing the real Scorpion to get a chance to start a new life. Finally, Hall goes back home just in time for the fireworks of the 4th of July.